This soundtrack is just a masterclass in short loops. It's like 45 seconds a loop, and they're just fire. It's so good. Let's go, Water Tower. It's too good. Bum 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 ba-dum ba-da-da-da. Hello. Hello all. What happened to my setting? Oh. There we go. Hello all. Hi. It's the Power Blade soundtrack, of course. Who said Power Blade? Who was it? Was it Matt Callahan? I know Matt Callahan knows Power Blade. This game's fantastic. You gotta, right? You don't. Don't just claim that. Vitor Amato. How's it going? I hear you had a good time at the Vancouver dev thing last night. I was busy tasting whiskeys. I couldn't go, unfortunately. Short loop, see? It's done. It's been like 3 times through already. It's crazy. How about power windmills? Out of control. We have some news. Oh, this is heavy. Hey, check it out. Pretty sick, right? It's like 15 pounds. It's very heavy. Ugh. Jeez. Make him kiss. I only have the one. Only the one. Had to pack it in the carry-on because there's no way it would not make my luggage way too heavy. And then the security folks took it out of my carry-on and showed it to all the other security staff so that, quote, they'd know what they're looking at next time a BAFTA comes through the scanner. So, doing my part, I guess. It's pretty funny. Yeah, we're over the moon. Very happy. We got one for artistic direction and one for best debut. So, sweet. And now we have the Canadian Game Awards to look forward to. This is coming up in Toronto at the end of the month. I think it's the last one of the awards season. And best audio. Hey. We're up there with Session, Rainbow Six, FIFA 23, and Gotham Knights. Like what a ragtag crew across the board. Yeah. Various noms. Best game design. We got Game of the Year. Up there with Rogue Legacy 2. There you go. That's this is Shell in the Pit. Another audio crew here in town. There may be a person or two in the chat right now from Shell in the Pit. It's possible. It's possible. Gord. You got it. Gord. And yeah, I met Nicholas from Disney Dreamlight Valley at the BAFTA. Super nice guy. At I think Montreal or Quebec? Quebec City? I think Montreal is right. Yeah. Tunes are too good. Are you hearing this? Tanker. Next. Yeah, Tunic Talk. Well, here's some of it. Just happens to be open in this browser. Iskra. No problem. Iskra audio. This is not the talk. This is like the V1 rough version in Google Slides. The full version's in Keynote on a different laptop. So unfortunately, I can't just blast through it now. Also, I'm not allowed to contractually. I can't do that talk elsewhere. It's on the GDC. That's that. But yeah, it was pretty good time. This is a slide that did not make it into the talk. It's a little secret for all you at home. If you want your stuff to sound awesome, just do this. Minus 24 dB at 300. This is like the entirety of Celeste and Tunic. Basically. Yeah, listener stuff was fun though. I'll pause this. Yeah, the listener stuff for the talk was pretty fun, and I got a lot of good feedback on that, in particular from people who went to the talk. So I hope it was helpful. I hope people liked what they saw. You do that on every sound you make, haha. Well, no, not literally, but I don't like 300 hertz. And coincidentally, in the listening space, like in the environment I was working in before this room, like back in the day at my old apartment, there just happened to be a huge standing wave at 300 hertz on my chair, like where in my listening position. So 300 sounded loud, so I would overcompensate every time. I'd be like, oh, 300 is way too loud here. You got to pull it back. But turns out it was just like fine and normal, but I was just pulling it back for my position. So the result was kind of like what you saw in that big ridiculous notch. But it sounds good. 300 is the worst. Who needs 300? Nobody. No one needs it. It's the worst frequency. Just pull it out. Don't need it. Get rid of it every time. The golden rule, exactly. Anyway, a lot has happened since our last Real Talk stream. Holy, let's think here. What was going on? I did I had COVID the week prior, so I got over that, and then was doing talk prep for most of that week, and then the week after was GDC, followed by the London Games Festival and the BAFTA ceremony. It was pretty exciting. And now we're back. And the Canadian Game Awards noms happened also while we were at the BAFTAs, so pretty exciting. But yeah, I have like various, I mean, I can scroll through Twitter. I mean, you can just see what happened at GDC, basically. It's all just right here. But pretty fun. Oh yeah, here's the yes, the informal open book mentorship roundtable took place. Yeah, hands up in the chat if you were at the roundtable. I think we have a few people who were there, right? Gotham, good to see you, pal. Good to see you. Who needs that boxy low mid range? Actually, who needs it? Literally no one. No one at all. Hella good. Yeah, Brennan. I saw you at GDC briefly. Congrats on the bat, dude. Thanks a lot. Real talk. Now there's a schedule conflict with a weekly dev sync Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. Oh no. Well, I'll see you occasionally. You can just be sneaking into that under the table. It's all right. I'll tell no one. Yeah, we had our round table, some 25-ish people, something like that. I don't know how many were there. I don't know. 20-ish, something like that. This guy in the back is pretty funny, Jason. He just like rolled in. Was just sitting at this table over here and was like listening in, just kind of incognito for a while. And I was like, yo, I want to join. He's like, I'm just like some indie dev, man. I'm not even in audio. It's just interesting. I was like, yeah, come on over, man. So he just joined in. It's funny. But yeah, we had like Noah here and Meg Mordecai got hired at Riot while at GDC. Pretty sick. And Miles and Carly and Justin and Nina and Ben Lipkin was doing CA stuff all week. Good job, Ben. We got Riley Circles, Alex Pincus in the back there, Lucas, Mariah and Ben. We got David Sue. We got Denaya here, met her for the first time. Composer, doing good work. Ari, got Kim and Harrison and Jenny, Matt Callahan in the chat. There's Matt. There you are, Matt. And then like our crew here. Our crew, Natasha, Cole, and Craig, and myself. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun time. We were talking for like 2 and a bit hours, probably, just on everything, contract terms. Oh, and sorry, I missed Logan. Logan Hughes in the back here, hiding behind a rando Jason. Anyway, yeah, good crew, super fun. I was curious what the turnout would look like, because we did this in 2019 and had like maybe a similar crowd, probably the same number of people, like give or take a few, but it had been growing each year, like significantly. It's like a big jump each year. So I was wondering if it'd be kind of another big jump or not, or like a drop down again, having not been around for a while, right? But yeah, we were thrilled that a bunch of folks turned up and asked some great questions, like what are some red flags when you're interviewing for a job? And I was like, oh, what a great question, so good. I think that was Ina with that question, super good. Hawk says, hey, I found out about this podcast a week ago. It's not really a podcast, it's more like a broadcast, but yeah. Already have like 8 pages of notes taken. Haha. Thank you for doing this. Hey, wonderful. So you're watching like past episodes and stuff, I assume? Is that what you're saying? If so, rad. Super cool. I'm glad it's helping out. Yeah, we had a lot of, I had a lot of people at GDC just approach me at BAFTAs too, at just London Games Festival, wherever, just hit me up out of nowhere and say, hey, I was on Real Talk 4 years ago. I was on Real Talk a year ago. I have never been on Real Talk, but I've watched a ton and I'm working now, so thanks a lot. So, geez, I think it was like upwards of like maybe 15 people across GDC and London stuff were just hit me up and said thanks. It was pretty amazing. Oh, and this happened too at the Gang Awards on the Thursday at GDC. Matt Martinson and myself got the Gang Recognition Award for Real Talk, just like for giving back in a bunch of ways. Matt with Carousel Con, myself for Real Talk. And pretty cool because neither Matt or myself are Gang members. I've been like relatively outspoken about my thoughts about Gang in past years. So it was really nice that despite all that, Gang was like, here's an attaboy, well done, gents. And like Matt's the same way. Like Matt has his own thoughts. I won't speak for him, but this was something I was like more than happy to roll in and receive. So that was really quite amazing. Felt really good. Nice to have that kind of recognition from the audio, the room of audio people, massive room of audio people at GEC. As well, oh geez, what the heck else? Don't look at this picture. Don't look at that one. No one needs to see that. Oh yeah, here's Ben Savello's crazy, like he's made this. It's got like I don't know what you call it, but like the kind of holographic thing where you can change the angle and it has a different thing in it. Isn't that insane? Like what the heck? This makes no sense. I never saw this before, and it's like years old. 2019. Had dinner with him and his partner Mariah, and just like learned of that the first time. IGF and GDCA's, the awards show. Pretty cool time as always. We got swept. We won 0 things for Tunic. We were up for a lot of things and we won none of them. We won 0. But it's always nice in that room regardless, because we just, you're at least acquainted with all the people you're up against. So whenever someone wins, you're like, yeah, good job. Like everything here is worth talking about. So well done. So I'm happy that the BAFTA trip was worth the tuxedo and the plane trip for sure. Of course, it's a big deal. So Austin Wintory's talk on Stray Gods and just the ridiculous. I don't even see this very well, but just all the options based on player decisions, like how the music plays different stems, different verses, etc., based on what you do in time. It's crazy, completely ridiculous, and so Austin Wintory. It's hilarious. What a guy. Did the talk. The talk went pretty well. People seemed to have a good time. Pretty full room. Got a lot of people saying it was the best talk they saw at GDC. So, what else do I want for feedback other than that, right? One fellow came by the Tunic booth later and said that he felt like he got 10 hours of content in a 1 hour talk, which is pretty high praise. It did move pretty fast, so I was concerned that it might be too fast for some, but I think in the end it mostly landed. So I'm pretty happy with that. We'll see how the reviews go, though. Everyone fills out their evaluations after the talks and says, yeah, it was good or it was not good, and here's why. Here are my thoughts. So I'm very curious to see how people thought of it when they're behind like an anonymous, curtain. It's a little more, I trust that more than people coming to me in person. So we'll see. Oh, here is Dana very kindly tweeting out my email address. There it is. Thanks, Dana. Thank you for that. And then this is not in text. Not in text. Can't be scooped by bots. I mean, probably at least. Oh yeah, I bought my wife this trombone champ shirt. The tromboner. How crazy is this shirt? Isn't this amazing? Trombone champ. Shirt's unhinged. Crazy. Crazy shirt. Yeah, Gang Awards. Here's the crew, right? Pretty fun. And GDCAs. So fun. That was the coat I bought that Twitter very kindly talked me into buying. Made an appearance. Yeah, and then London. And here's Zoe's artwork also. Isn't that amazing? So funny. It's like this opulent Renaissance painting. It's like, okay, here's her cartoon style. Amazing. Yeah, and then BAFTAs. So, oh, and also freaking Cole Verteber on our team is now a Canadian citizen, right? And the ceremony concluded like moments before we won for best debut. Pretty cool day. Pretty crazy day. Highlight day for sure. Yeah, I met Chirag Machar as well, who was on Real Talk some time ago, is now working at Frontier Developments, I believe it was. Yeah, and then I missed Game Audio Drinks London by like 4 hours. My plane left, and they had drinks after that. So I'm pretty not okay with that. I'm still a little devastated, but oh well. Oh yeah, and Celeste players too. It's a good time. I haven't been at things. No, we're stopping right there. No more scrolling up. I haven't been to a thing, like to an event like that in a long time. So it was very, very refreshing. Felt good. Felt real good. But anyways, it's not really why you're all here, is it? It's like, Kevin, stop talking about your great times had at GDC and get back to the topic at hand. And yes, let's do just that. But first, John, good to see you. John Gap, Jessia Bebb, yo, it was a pleasure to have you around. Sabrina Fidele, met you at GDC. I'm glad you said hi. Of course, a lot of folks that I recognize handles of. I was happy to see in person. Have a face, more than just like a bio, photograph. It's nice to have actually in person. Hello. Yeah, Vitor, Matt, Gotham. We got Tincho95. It says you've chatted before. 5 messages. Not very many. Well, welcome back again. Brandon Clark, good to see you. Blue Gestalt. Gestalt. That's you, right? Isn't that Andrea? Because Liquid, yeah, this is for sure Andrea, right? I think so. Blue. Glad you're here. Adam Vision, I didn't see you. What a legend. Hey, buddy. So good to see you in person. I mean, I know you're like just over there, in BC, but still, regardless, always good to see you. Ulysses, hello. We got Iskra. We got Brendan. We got April Fool's Child. Your mind for names is astounding. I appreciate that. It's very kind. There are methods. There's methods to recall things for sure. But yeah, I get that a lot. Thank you. Yes, been binge watching Hawak. What do I call you? Hawak? Is that your name? Hawak. Well, I'm glad you're binge watching. And yeah, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or anything at all. Feel free. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, Benjamin's Prime with the heart. Oh, was I talking about you and you had to say hearts? Yeah, you're a big deal, Ben. Ben Savello, big deal. Yanni, good to see you as well. Liam P. Have you ever done composition reels? The answer to that is yes. Like playlist versus video reels. Oh, like a SoundCloud playlist. Okay, so no. And it is let's talk about this now. We'll get into the real talk stuff now, yeah? So, yes, we've done submissions from composers. It's not frequent. I haven't for a long time. When we do submissions from composers, it's typically because we have a guest host who is a composer. Like Austin Wintry, for instance, was a guest host composer at one point. And in that case, in the case of composers submitting their work, I still feel real strongly that SoundCloud playlists are a bad idea. They're just, or like Bandcamp or whatever. It's not that they can't work. It's just that if you have a minute of someone's time, or 2 minutes, I guess, for composers is reasonable for a reel. You have options available, right, to engage your viewer or your website visitor. And why not engage more than one sense? Is that a reasonable position to take? You know, that's my stance. I'm like, well, we can just have a playlist and say press play, and here's like a full piece, and it's 4 minutes long or something, and then you have another piece, and it's like 3 minutes long, like another piece, 4 minutes long. It's just like, it's not controlled. It's not a controlled method when you have 2 minutes of someone's time. So now we take one step forward towards what I think is a better approach. And let's say that top track is instead a reel, but it's like an audio reel, like on SoundCloud. So you have crossfades across the different tracks. You have, your big sci-fi banger into like, an orchestral ballad into, chiptune, whatever thing. You can do that, but there's still no context at all. So it might be that you can successfully demonstrate that you are a skilled composer. You can make music and the music sounds nice, just objectively, sure. What you have still failed to do, or as it's just simply yet to be determined, is whether or not you have gaming sensibilities or gaming interests even that align, well, at all, period, but also that align with the person that is looking to recruit you potentially. So we have someone who's got a like a AAA sci-fi thing in the works, or III sci-fi thing in the works, and you have a sci-fi music in your SoundCloud demo reel, just like the audio demo reel. Great. So you have that box checked, sci-fi and sci-fi. What a match. Match made in heaven, right? But now we have another person who also has sci-fi in their demo reel, but their demo reel is like a rescore to, I don't know, Mass Effect or something, right? Or some project, or like Adrift, like some project like this where it's got like sci-fi backing, and then what they've done, it makes sense with what's on screen. Maybe they've even gone one step further and rescored and like mocked up like some dynamic audio for like a combat sequence or something like that. It's like some dynamic music with stems that fade in. Well, now we have you over here and you have successfully demonstrated your competence for music. But now we have person 2 who has done the same thing, but they've gone one further and they've shown, oh, hell yeah, I love sci-fi games. Here's a few that I like. I've rescored them. Why would I rescore these if I didn't like the game? And I've also shown I have certain sensibilities that measure into like interactivity and stuff like that, right? So it's not that you can't do it. It's just that they've shown that they are a safer bet. That if you both can do it, this person is like heavily rooted in games. They're showing game stuff. And again, this is only in the first 2 minutes or something of their time, of the person who's visiting these websites. It might be that elsewhere on your webpage you have more information on your love for games and stuff, but they just might not get that far. It's possible. So that's what we say it again and again on Real Talk. We're not about, the goal here is not, you will get a job. That's not the goal. How to get a job, the goal. No, it is how to increase your chances that you will be assessed as the person who is least risky. It's not quite as sexy of a goal, but like just saying it out loud like that. But that is philosophically what's happening here. You can't look at your own stuff and say, well, it's good, right? You need to look at it and say, is it better? Is it more successfully and more efficiently, effectively demonstrating the skills that this role needs? Is it doing that better than every other candidate? Because you have to. If you're not, then you lose to the other candidate who did it better than you. That's just how it works, right? Or you know somebody. Knowing people can help a lot too, making friends. But regardless, you still need to be able to back up making friends with being able to do the work, right? I hope that makes sense. I can't even recall who asked that question. Was it Liam? Have you ever done? Yeah, Liam. Have you done composition reels? There it is. Yeah. So some do one or the other, but not both. Yeah, I wouldn't do both. Pick one. It's fine enough to have your SoundCloud playlist like available somewhere. I have absolutely gotten an email from like just people from GDC I met. And they're like, hey, good to meet you. See you around. Just like very no expectation, just simply genuinely great to meet you. See you around. And in the signature, it's like linked to their stuff. I'm like, click. What's your deal? Person X. And then they have a SoundCloud playlist. I might like throw it on while I'm doing admin tasks. Why not? Just press play and see what they're all about. In that case, something might catch my ear, but I'm not in like a recruitment headspace. So it's not fair. It's not the same thing. Not even close. I'm not going to that person's site and like very actively going through hundreds of demo reels to decide who's the best fit for this project. If that's the case, there's no way am I putting on someone's entire SoundCloud playlist while I do something else, because I'm not doing something else. I'm doing the recruitment tasks. So I want to be as effective and targeted as possible. That's where having objective-based demo reels front and center on your page, or a demo reel front and center on your page, that's where that comes in handy, because you just predict this person's busy. I'm going to make their time on my page as locked in and dense as possible, so they learn as much about me that will help them decide that I'm good for this project in the least time. Yeah? Okay. I was bordering on ranting there. I apologize. Ranting/rambling. Let's get back into Martin and Andrea. I assume I'm saying that right. Andrea Baroni. Let me know if I'm saying that wrong, but I'm making a rash assumption here. Is Martin here, by the way? Liquid Audio? I did talk to Martin on Twitter like a couple days ago, so I hope that you're here. I hope. Oh, Tin Show, is that you? Martin is in tin. Tin C HOA. I can't figure it out, but Tin, got it. It's like Martin Cho Huergo or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to do Martin first, I think, is the move. We'll move things over here. Be nice and focused. Okay, wonderful. I think we're all good to go. Martin, and Andrea is correct. Awesome. So let's talk about Real Talk. I've already been talking about this a lot as it stands up to this point, but the overall gist of this stream is we are looking to help a couple people who have submitted their work to the stream to find some more traction in whatever corner of the industry they're aiming for in the game audio sphere. And that might be working in a AAA development studio, like, the big ones like Activision or whatever. It might be working for a third-party team like ours or Sweet Justice or Hexany or whatever, Imba. There's a lot of them out there. It might be working for a smaller team like Supergiant, where they're still pretty established and they're still hiring, but it's like smaller projects compared to something like a massive shooter like Last of Us Part 2 or whatever. Or it might even be you just want to freelance and you want to be more effective in your freelancing endeavors. Whatever that is, whatever that goal might look like, I am certainly happy to give you my own thoughts on your work and your approach. And there are a lot of very talented and astute and apt people in the chat who will be happy to help out as well. I'm certain of this. We'll be focusing on a few things that are down below here, the criteria. We're looking at presentation, material selection, content quality, and distinction. For presentation, that encompasses the website on the whole. Typically, there's a website these days. It's not often we get like a YouTube link by itself. And it's certainly more effective than just a YouTube link. It gives you a chance to be a little more, demonstrate your eye for details and taste for branding and just focused direction, all these things. So we'll look at things like just general information. Is there too much? Is there not enough? Can I find where I'm going easily? If I want to see something, does that thing exist? Things like this, yeah? And then for the demo reel, which looks to be right here on Martin's page, we look at things like the length. Is it a minute? Like 109 tops, ideally. Like 100 to 109 is a good kind of range to be hanging out in usually. How is the flow from clip to clip? Is it deliberate, or is it just sort of thrown on a timeline and whatever? Is it jarring? We try and make sure that it's at least okay, right? At least okay, or hopefully awesome. And also titling and bookends and things like this, just all the stuff that is not the audio of the reel. For the material selection point of criteria, we are looking at the pieces selected for the demo reel, or the things that might appear in a portfolio if one exists down here somewhere, and what those various pieces might imply. I know what we can infer about Martin or Andrea just by looking at what's in there. Is it all AAA redesigns? In that case, then you're probably looking to work in a AAA environment. And if you aren't, then this is maybe not the best way to do your demo reel. You know, there's certain implications that the recruiter, the person on your site, might not even be actively aware of as they're watching it, but they'll certainly get it kind of internally. Yeah, it'll sink in the point of it. Something happened recently where somebody asked me, hey, well, I work in like dialogue editing in a big studio, but I want to work in sound design. Is it worth it to include the dialogue stuff in my reel? And I was like, oh, hell yes, absolutely. If you throw in, hey, I did like Mass Effect Andromeda dialogue editing or something like that, just throw it at the end of your reel and then be like, oh, they've been doing stuff. They're working. That's pretty cool. They're actually working in the industry. So they know how the sausage is made. They've worked with the team. They have all these capabilities and this experience. That's a big plus. But all those sound redesigns earlier in the reel will very successfully imply like, oh, but they want to do sound design. It's a pretty obvious assumption that can be made there, right? So we're just talking about like communicating a little more information without having to say it explicitly. And then the third thing, content quality, just is it good? Is the stuff in the reel, in the portfolio, just is it actually good? Is it hitting that industry standard of awesome that we're always aiming for? Is it exceeding it? And if it's not, if there's room to improve, I'll be happy to, as I said, give you my opinions. And the chat will too, very likely. And the last note there, distinction, just simply, are you standing out in a crowd? Are you standing out in some positive way? There are a whole lot of people looking for these projects, these gigs. And if you aren't standing out in some way, at least, you might be dead in the water. You might just blend into the background. And I mean, unfortunately, I can absolutely recall a lot of the reels that have been submitted to Real Talk, but I mean, it's like 360 or something so far we looked at on the show. So I recall certain reels for certain elements. Like I'll bring them up again and again on the show, like Ashton Morris's website that we looked at like 6 years ago, and is still the same because it's so good. And why would he ever change this? It's like, it's so good, you know? Like this is the kind of thing that stands out in a big way. So then when someone needs music composition, maybe Ashton's name jumps to mind, just possibly, right? Because you recall them. If it's like a SoundCloud playlist on a Wix.com template free page, well, now we're looking at a thing that looks like 1,000 other people's pages. And it's not that you aren't good. It's not that you don't have the skills to do the job. It's that the vehicle that you're shipping your stuff in is not interesting or compelling or engaging. And therefore, it might be that you just blend in the background. You're not showing you have it. You're serious. You're not showing your work as effectively as somebody else, and therefore you might just not get the gig, even though you have the skills required. You know. Okay, so shall we get into Martin's work? Yes, we have let me zoom in a bit here. So you're 200% already. We'll say 150 for now, I guess. Yeah. So we got home up top. We got home, game audio. Okay. About me, contact. Something is like it's like the logo. I see. Same thing. The logo. Cool. Play to start. I mean, I know what this button means. This isn't really necessary, but just a play button is fine. Liquid audio, adding thunder to the lightning. That's cute. Sound design, game audio, sonic branding. Okay, favorites. What does this mean? Favorites? M-Pen Audio, glad to finally catch this live. We're glad to finally have you. Welcome on in, M-Pen Audio. Most loved projects. This says widget didn't load. That's strange. What's happening here? Refresh. Let's try refreshing. Hard refresh. Shift F5. Seems to have gone away. Oh, it animates too. I didn't realize that. Look at that. Fancy. And, maybe. It's trying. Something's happening over here. I don't know what it is. Most loved projects is a menu also. We have many countries. Akira. Whiskas. Yeah, still same thing. I don't know, Martin. Not sure what's happening there. Playing love. Doesn't look great. So, of course, deal with that. But no big. Playing love. Okay. Share. Yeah, this is like... This kind of thing is... Like, no one's ever going to share your stuff using that button, you know? It's going to happen 0 times. Total. Ever. Lifetime. So, it just screams like template widget thing that doesn't need to be there, you know? Just kind of funny. Okay. MP7 transition. Matt Pokora. Okay. Abiogenesis. Berlin. Sound design comp. Bits and pieces. A bunch of things. These are all, I kind of wish I had more information, like a little bit more information on what these things were. I have a title and that only, and it's kind of, I don't know, it feels a bit like junk drawer, you know? But we'll get to it in a second. Let's go to game audio really quick. Okay, insert coin, okay? A bit about the game audio reel and the hidden power of one's voice. For sound effects. Hi there, thanks for reading. There's a lot of text. I can't read all this. This is a lot of text. It is a lot. Okay, so I am going to glance through this because I feel like it's worth talking about why this text is here. Celeste. Okay, so I invite you to read along with the video if you'd like. Oh, with the video? Secret sound. Is that just for me? Thanks, buddy. All right. I got rickrolled by a variation on my own rickroll. Very nice. Thank you very much. Just for me, I assume. Okay, Jormungandr. The biggest hurdle goes first. There's a reason I can read more. Oh, geez, so much text and all this stuff. So it says, along with the clip, along with this? So, okay, maybe this is worth just taking a step back for a second, Martin. I'm not fully certain of what it is you want me to do here as a person on your site. Read less. It's like, there's a lot of text here, and that's fine, but this amount of text is bordering on like blog stuff or like article stuff, you know? So if I press play, 238, okay. But you're saying, read along with the video. I mean, if I do that, I'm not looking at your video, you know? So then I'm down here reading rather than looking at your awesome work. You know, it's just kind of like, where is the focus? Does that make sense? I can't do two things at once. So if I watch this and then go down here and read it, it's just like a lot of stuff. So this is nice if I do want to learn more. it's the kind of thing where like, oh my God, if I watch a reel and I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. That Ori and the Will-O-the-Wisps redesign like blew my mind. Then I could go learn more about that. But if I want to learn more, I want you to tell me more. I don't want to have to read a whole thing. You know, just, yeah. Well, we can get to that in a bit, though. I do want to focus back on your reel a little bit more. Okay, and you have implementation. So once sound assets, this is very small. Once sound assets for the game are ready, the next step is to implement them in game. Further immersing the player in the story and experience. So yeah, this is, yes, you know, but that goes for every single game and person in game audio in the world. So it's, I would ask you, like, why is this here? Are you looking to educate people on your page? Because that is, you know, that's certainly worthwhile sometimes. I've myself, I've had clients where, myself or through PowerUp or in my old job, you'd have clients who are like, how does this even work? Like, how do we do this? Like, what works best for you? That's a very common conversation. And that this kind of thing is maybe what you could talk about, but having it on your page is, I think, maybe not necessary. I am passionate about games and technology and have worked on numerous video game projects in different genres, from adventure games to first-person shooters. My job is to create sounds that help enhance the player experience. This includes designing and recording sound effects for in-game objects, characters, and actions, composing original game music, and mixing and editing audio to create an immersive gaming experience. Yeah, that's like, this is about you right here. You've done things. It's vague, but you have credits. That's all we've learned here. You're passionate. Every person's passionate. Your job is to do the thing that every person's job is. So this is all telling me what the game audio world's job is and not what your job is. Using middleware such as Fmod and Wise, I aim to make audio systems. Again, this is what every person should be doing. If you're looking for a sound designer for your game project, I can help you create an exciting and immersive gaming experience. Yes, okay, sure. I will make sure that sounds and music are seamlessly integrated into the game so players feel fully immersed in the game world. Again, this is every person's job. I'm excited to work on your project and help you take it to the next level. So contact me. This is all very sales pitchy, I guess, which is kind of the point, but it's like at the bottom of all this text. And it's, again, you're not really talking about you. You're just describing what the world of game audio looks like, you know? So I don't know if this is worth being here, like honestly at all. Just saying you work in these things is going to be plenty, and showing that you're good at this stuff as opposed to just like telling us you're passionate is going to be so much more effective. Every time I see a bio that isn't even a bio, it's like some more text. But whenever I see text on a site of any kind that says, I am passionate and I do the job of game audio, it's like, yes, you and literally every person, like every person. So when we're talking about that criteria point of distinction down at the bottom here, like that's what I'm talking about. This is doing the opposite job. It's saying I am just like everyone else. It's having this bit about you. You've done projects, and these are the kind of things you've done. That's like literally of all of this. This is the only thing that's about you. It's just unfortunate. And the thing is, there's so much text here, so it's not that you've like done a bad job, because this is all accurate, sure. But if we take a step back and think about how you're asking people to spend their time on your page, if they spend their 2 minutes reading this, they've learned nothing about you. So it just simply is not an effective way to convey what you can bring to the table to someone who's looking to buy, right? Who's looking to find an audio solution. Yeah, there are better and more effective and more personal ways you can do it, for sure. A few games worked on. Yeah, great. I love seeing this kind of thing. Wonderful. I have developed my own game as well. Along with a friend, we made a pixel art horror game called Family Night, about a child being invited to a PJ party and things taking a bit of a turn. While my colleague took care of the programming side of things, I did the art, animation, and sound design implementation. Sound and music implementation. Okay, so great, cool. Let's go back over to about me then. Okay, so a bunch of stuff. Oh, it's like split up too. Interesting. My Fiverr gigs. Fiverr. All right. Okay, there you are, Martin. Wonderful. Hi, my name is Martin Huergo. Is that right? Huergo? and I'm a sound designer with over 7 years of experience, currently residing in Cordoba, Argentina. I am currently freelancing as a level 2 seller on Fiverr with over 400 projects from worldwide clients. My main tools are Cubase and Pro Tools. Okay, cool. And for game audio, Fmod and Wise. Okay, got it. Ever since I reworked the famous animated movie Akira, I can say that animation is one of my favorite things to sound design for. Okay. I don't know when you did that or how long ago it was or anything. And animation is your favorite thing? I'm a huge anime and games fan. I love to design everything from the most intense fights and peaceful forests to the dark and moody tones of a dystopian neo-future... Oh, there's another secret sound here. Same thing. I already did that. From dystopian neo-futuristic city. You can check that project here. Okay. Is this the Akira thing? Oh, what? Is this just this? Oh, 10 minutes long. Okay, I can't do this. Not right now. Not right now. Perhaps in a bit. Yeah, roll them again. It happened again, Shigans. My God. My God, Sean. Okay. Okay, education, La Metro, school of... Yeah, this feels like kind of scattered. Like, this is... I just want to know about you in, you know, in a bio. School of Design and Audiovisual... Okay, so La Metro, School of Design and Audiovisual Communication, is a pioneer in art, design, and communication. This is not about you. So, as a student in La Metro, I've been through different areas of sound design, such as recording. Okay, so this is, again, not about you. It's about every student at that school. Image Campus is a leading organization in Argentina and Latin America that is and is widely recognized by the industry in providing constantly innovative educational services. Okay, again, not about you. For 4 months, I've attended their game audio specialization course, which included content mainly for Fmod and Wise, along with programming concepts for Unity and Unreal Engine. Like, yeah, mentioning things you've learned or like things that you are now like deep into and that you've discovered like, oh, this is super for me. You know, after taking a course at La Metro, and being in such courses like as this, I learned that like, this is all for me. I couldn't wait to get into whatever. Like that kind of thing is about you specifically. Just describing the course is not really helpful. It's like, oh, okay, well, why should I hire you and not any of the students that went there? That makes sense? Like, it might seem kind of harsh, but that's just, again, we're talking about like, if you are looking to be working in games, it's a people industry. And I want to learn about Martin, you know? And you're kind of, you're pushing back. You're not letting me a little bit, you know? This is something about you right there. As a level 2 seller on Fiverr, since 2018, I've worked on 400 plus projects for worldwide clients ranging from films, animation, sonic branding, games, app, UI, UX, and more. Okay, cool. Great. Yeah, I'd love to see like a trimmed down and about you bio. Like I went to this thing, and I mean, you could easily put a link. Like I went to La Metro. I went to, the Image Campus. Excuse me. I attended Image Campus game audio specialization course, and you can just like throw a link on that word. So if someone's like, "What the hell is Image Campus?" I can just click that and go to their page and be like, "Oh, it's this, cool," and I can learn what this thing is if I don't know what it is. But it shouldn't be. I wouldn't use your valuable time of someone on your website to like tell them what La Metro is. It just isn't relevant to you, you know? I'd way more learn things like, oh, I like playing bass guitar. I like playing these kinds of games. I like designing and programming synths. I like stuff that is specific to you is what should be here. Let's get back to your reel, though, and actually watch your reel. We're talking about your bio too much. Okay. 149 is long, Martin. It's so long. It's probably longer than it has to be. Let's see here. I'm gonna make sure the sidechain is off. Okay. This is probably long, but we'll see. I've been wrong before. 3, 2, 1, and. Okay, so you're now, I'm going to pause right here. I have some thoughts already, but I see you clarifying some things in the chat. That reel, I guess, is more for linear sound design. I try to divide the site into linear and game audio. Oh, so this isn't even the right reel. Is there a better reel to watch? Because this is your landing page, right? So game audio, if I go here instead, is there a thing at the top? So this is what to watch? Oh, it's even longer, 238. So is this what you want to watch instead then? Because we can talk about that too, as far as like how to divide things. Because this, having game audio, heavily suggests it's an afterthought. Whereas if you have a home with, like we have this page and this page, right? I mean, I've done the whole, this whole thing before, where like you have your main landing page. This is your home, right? And it's like, what do you want to see? You want to see game audio? Then go over here. You want to see sound design, like film audio, then go over here, right? And when you want to get a client in games, you just link them this link, right? Like they don't care about this, doesn't matter. But if you link them your website and they go to your site and see this play button on the main page, they're going to press play. You are literally saying press play to start, right? So how can you blame them? They're going to press play and they'll be like, oh, what is this, any games? Like, what even is this? You know? So it's a big problem, very big problem. And it's worth addressing, definitely. Okay, this is quite long. Quite. And let me just check something really quick here. Because this is something that I do want to be very clear about. Let me see here. Okay, so this, I fear we might start talking about some basic stuff as opposed to getting into details. And I mean, I did send you, like through the Power Up Twitter account, I did send you the GDC video, right? The GDC talk on a lot of these like broad strokes stuff. And I mean, that was like months ago too, right? So if you've just been working and stuff, then so be it. But it's kind of like a question of, well, here's all that information, and if these things are still not addressed, then I would then ask maybe if it was a deliberate choice not to. In that case, why? But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. 238. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, we're 55 seconds in already, and of those two clips, you can cut both of them in half easily. Okay, yeah, so, I have a lot of thoughts in the first minute we've watched so far, but you have as Sabrina is saying very astutely, you have a bunch of vocalization stuff on that, and then you have, like, more vocalization stuff, so I would encourage you, Martin, to think, when every second passes in your reel, Are you giving the viewer an opportunity to learn something new about you? That you can do this too. You can do this too. You can also do Foley really well. You can do like environment sounds really well. You can do ambience really well. Even like here's a cool, sexy transition to a new game. That's cool too. Like we can start just adding more check marks to our clipboard, you know? And the same thing goes for this Ori clip. I mean, you have this fun creature design stuff and some movement. The creature design is absolutely dominated in the mix. It's very dominant in the mix. And it's a lot of that. It's like a lot of this movement and like chomping and stuff for, you know, some 20 seconds. But we're not really learning new stuff. And not that it's bad, we're just not learning anything new. So this, I would argue, is a waste of time. And not in a I'm being mean to you way. I'm saying you can use that time more effectively. Time is going to waste because I'm spending a minute on your page and I've learned 20 seconds worth of stuff, right? There's 40 seconds that I have not learned anything new. I'm like, yeah, I know, Martin, get on with it. I know, man, I know, you know? So we'll carry on from here from the Celeste redesign. Let's go, 3, 2, 1, and. Oh, there it is. Okay. Being honest, I fully got distracted and did not watch the last 10 seconds of your reel. And that's just me. I want to be honest about that because I think it is important. I think it's an important bullet point here. I did not watch the last bit. And I think it's just because I think I learned already, you know, just even subconsciously. I think that by the time I got here, I was like, okay, I get it, you know, moving on. And that's not to say the work isn't good, you know, it's to say that, again, the packaging can use some tightening up. There's 2 little pops there from a non-faded region, by the way. Hear that? 1, 2. Okay, so Martin, was that painful to like watch me and the whole chat watching your full 2 minute and 38 second reel? You know, like, were you cringing? Were you like stoked to get to the next part? It's like, I hope that you can feel how long it feels, you know? It's long. It's definitely long. This is, I mean, I I don't fully get why you couldn't cut it down a bit more than this at least, because like saying you're looking for advice to cut it down, like this is so long, and there's some pretty obvious things that you can just cut down from here. But I mean, we're going to cover some broad strokes here, which is unfortunate because again, that's kind of why I send the GDC talk ahead of time. But I mean, the gist here, we have things like, and sound recreation is kind of a strange phrasing to use. It's not very common that we see that word. Recreation to me suggests that you don't want to do anything with original thought and you want to recreate the sound that they made. And so I've done recreations. Recreations are a wonderful exercise to say, oh, I wonder how they did this thing. And you pull up the sound in a tool like Isotope RX or whatever, and you start analyzing the frequency content and the kind of the various syllables of the sentence or of the word, like over time. If it's like like what are all the things they're doing over time, what's happening there, and you try and do it yourself. I mean, I've done that for like Atlas and Peabody, the two bots in the co-op mode of Portal 2. I did that years ago because I was like, how'd they do that? It's so cool. And I tried to like do new voice clips that I thought could hang with the ones that are already in game, like they're close enough that it would be indistinguishable. It's a great exercise, super good. That said, if you say recreation, and like the World Serpent is such, it's Mike's work. I think Mike Niederquell, right? How do you say his name? Niederquell? The World Serpent is like iconic sound design, voice design. It's amazing. It's so good. So to do it as a redesign is a bold choice, because I'm just looking at this being like, oh, it's not as good as the original. You know? It's, again, not to be mean, if you choose something that is like world renowned for its sound design to redesign, you're gonna end up with opinions like, oh, well, it's not as good as the original. Because I hear the original in my head. It's like redesigning lightsabers, right? Why would you do that? The lightsaber is so good. How do you expand upon it or reinvent it? Just don't. Just do something else entirely. It's this is a behemoth of a project to go up against in terms of redesign. So yeah, it's two things. Either you meant sound redesign, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I know what the World Serpent sounds like intimately, and this doesn't sound like a World Serpent to me. Even if I might not even think that like actively, it might just be subconscious. Or it's a sound recreation. You want to make it sound like the World Serpent, in which case I think it doesn't sound like the World Serpent. So this is a problem. It was super hard to get to a point where I was like, I'm done. I mean, definitely change the redesign or just don't include it. That's my position, because this is or like to lead with this is a lot, because you're just up against such a heavy hitter, Martin. I can't imagine this being, there are better options for redesigns, you know? If you worked very hard, you're very proud of it, by all means keep it, but I would call it redesign. Yeah, not recreation. Okay, next up, we have Ori. Ori is also a celebrated sound design game. It has won audio awards and stuff. Be aware of this. They're super good. The team at Wabi Sabi Sound, Andy Lackey, Eric Lorenz, like all those folks, they're super good at their jobs. And just be aware, this is another celebrated project for audio. This is also, I mean, we're kind of jumping around a bit here as far as criteria stuff goes, but these are all very different projects too, like super different projects. So from this alone, if we're looking at this in terms of material selection, I have no idea what it is you want to be doing in audio. And maybe it is the case that you don't know either, and that's okay. But if you're applying for projects, I would encourage you to be targeted in the way you're designing or crafting your demo reel. If you're looking to work in AAA, things like Ori, things like Celeste, just don't really have a home in that space. It could be, if you do this in terms of, I gotta find this too. Sound redesign, right? So this is, I assume, a linear redesign. You do have access to the Fmod projects. We made it available. Like I did that work personally. I know this, and So if you have that available, but it says sound redesign, I assume it's linear. And in which case, if it were an Fmod, then it would have more of a home in a AAA reel because you're doing this to demonstrate, oh, I'm putting work under the hood. I'm doing Fmod things. But to that point, you claim that you've got Fmod and Wise experience and you like doing this stuff, but nothing in your main demo reel shows us this. So, and also you haven't put any games you've worked on. So this reel, if I were to watch this reel and nothing else, I would get the following. I would say Martin doesn't know what he wants to do in terms of where he wants to land in a project. It's a full chaotic smattering of projects. Who knows what he wants to do? I have no idea. I would also think Martin has not worked on anything in a commercial capacity because there are no credits here. It's only sound redesigns. I also think Martin has not worked under the hood in Wise, in Unity, in Unreal, in Fmod, or anything because nothing's here, right? So these are all false. They're all false statements. I mean, apart from the one that you don't know what you want to do. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. But the point is your demo reel should be a 60-second concise just overview, a teaser of who you are and what you've got going on. And this just isn't doing that. It's fully falling short. And it seems like you've done a lot of cool stuff and you have a lot of cool interests. So that's unfortunate. It's not that you aren't good. It's not that you haven't put the work in. It's that this is not effectively communicating to me what you actually are doing or what you have been doing with your time. Is that fair? You're kind of forcing us to dig deeper to learn more about you. And there's a lot of text here. So it's easy to be like, oh God, so much text, scroll down. I can't read all that. And just like move on. It just is a very serious risk. It's possible. You know, what is this here? What's this thing here? A few games we worked on. Click this. We have many countries release trailer. So this is a trailer. This is not an indication of the work you've done. I would way rather see a breakdown, maybe 2 videos side by each, one with a demonstration of some of the work you're really proud of in the game, and maybe one of you narrating, commentating a bit of the game and like the work you did and how the challenges you faced and how you solved them, that kind of thing. I have almost no interest in watching in a trailer because I don't know if you even did the trailer work. You know, it says, so background music isn't you. And like, I guess you did the sound design in the trailer, I guess.
Produce the resources, the people in your
country. But like, it's all freaking voiceover too, you know? That's not helpful. I heard a cool sound to start. I'm like, oh, that sounds quiet. But it's quiet because they're making space for all the voiceover. Like, this just isn't... It sounds nice, though, the sound there. Like, that's a good sound. That's great. So why not throw that in your demo reel, you know? Like, put in things you have done. To show you've worked with a team and you've shipped things. Like, that's such a massive plus that so many people don't have. They don't have that luxury of putting that in their reel. You got to put that in there. You just have to. Quick presentation note. I mean, like you have a title up briefly here. It's there, but then it goes away. So I can't just click and see what it is. You know, that's something we went over in that GDC talk. If I want to see what this is, I like search for the title. Oh, it's a redesign. Got it. You know, it's just you're making me work. You're making me work so much to figure out who you are and what you did and what the work is and what the nature of these projects are and so forth and so forth. It's just, yeah, you need to use the time more effectively. This is just, there's so much like froth, you know, just extra stuff that is not important and is going to waste people's time. All right. What is the GDC talk? I'll go to it right now. It is the Real Talk from 2018 with myself and Matthew Martinson. I'll link it in the chat for you. It goes over all the common issues that he and I had seen in, at the time, around 140 plus, 120 plus reels. Yeah, a lot of the things that we're talking about now, we discussed in that talk, in terms of, yeah, the foundational problems we always see. So, Martin, I don't really want to get into content stuff too much because it just simply isn't your biggest problem. You have way bigger fish to fry in terms of how you're packaging this work. I'd love to see a V2 with all the text trimmed way down, with the reel trimmed way down, with more relevant content put into your reel, into your bio. There's just a lot of stuff here that isn't about you, or just is not clear, or is incomplete, or whatever, right? So we're not even going to get to talk about the kind of sound work you've done. I thank you also for redesigning Celeste. I love seeing Celeste redesigned every time. Super fun. But yeah, we just don't have time for it right now. So we talked about broad strokes, unfortunately. But are you standing out in a crowd? I think obviously no, not quite yet. I think that you've done a lot of good work, and that you very well could stand out in a crowd based on what you've done, just not with the way you package things here. Okay? So put some time into that, rethink, put yourself in someone else's shoes as far as how they are interfacing with your work, how they're interacting with your work, what they want to see. If they want to see more, is it there? For example, I wanted to see more of this game you worked on, but I'm instead met with a trailer which does not tell me what you did or show me the work you did in the project, So this is such a massive failure, because imagine me, a recruiter. I'm like, oh, many countries. What's this? I want to learn more. And you just like, don't show me, Whereas you could be like, oh, you want to see more? Check it out. Here it is. Thank you for taking the time to click this thing. Let me walk you through why I'm so proud of this project. Talk me through it. I would love to hear you talking about this thing that you're interested in, Okay. Anyways. Again, would love to see a V2 for the time being. Just needs work. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Andrea Baroni, thank you for your patience. Okay. Composer and sound designer, audio implementer. Zooming in. Look at this. Doing stuff. Doing things. Is that an OP1 I saw? Okay, game audio. Music for licensing. Albums, Bandcamp, videos, about, and contacts. With an S? Or contact? Yeah, take this S away. The S is weird. Just contact is good. Contacts is funny. Contacts tells me it's like a list of people or something, a list of links to different people. Contact is what you want. Okay, so we got I help game developers to elevate their stories, emotional content through audio. Owner of Cyberleaf Studio, which is here, different link. Cool. All right, advanced multimedia development and music production. Here is some music composed by Baroni. All right. Wonderful. And some apps and some websites and themes and some games. Great. Many things. Wonderful. Seems like you're doing it. Seems like you're busy. Let's go to the about. Let's scroll down first. Or is it like a vertical page? No. Front page is like a quick overview. Or is it? Oh, contact scrolls down, but about goes somewhere else. Okay. Let's read this. Can you read it home? Zoom a little more. How about that? There you are. With your, this is a mono mix referencing machine. It's pretty fun. Little speaker. Okay. Hi, my name is Andrea, and I am an eclectic music composer, multi-instrumentalist, sound designer, and audio implementer. Originally from Italy, I currently work and live in the UK. After a master in computer science and degrees in multimedia development and music production, I worked for several creative agencies and finally reverted to working as a freelancer, creating also my own studio. Cyberleaf, we were just there. I took part in the realization of several multimedia applications, from museum installations to interactive audiobooks. I decided to then specialize in game audio, making my inner child very happy, serving especially the indie games community with audio assets, original music, and with a passion also for implementing dynamic and procedural audio. Fun. I also composed for TV, films, and theater with bespoke compositions, and also licensing my tracks via several music libraries. As a highly creative and passionate individual, I have a deep love for storytelling and narrative-driven games. I'm also always seeking out new opportunities for self-improvement and learning. Okay. And some various skills down here. Audio, various stuff. We got implementation, various stuff, and extra. Some things. Credits. Oh, nice. You've been working. Look at this. So many things. Cool. Cool. Oh, this is something. The heck? It's cool. All right. Wonderful. Audio books, ads, promo. Hire me to work in your game audio. Okay. Where's that go? Oh. Game audio page. It's a lot of text stuff, but I guess, yeah, it's kind of like our services page. It's like, I'm not going to read all this, but it's there. If someone wants to learn how it works. Sure. Necro Merger. Oh, last year too. It's cool. Recent. Good stuff. Many things. Holy. I'm going to zoom out to 100%. What's this look like? Many things. Jeez. So many things, yo. Cool. Seems like you're serious. Let's go to your main page and... Oh, there's nothing here, though, to click on. So watch my reels. So one click. Okay, I can survive with one click. We got music and we got sound. Music is how long? Is 3 minutes. Probably long. But you have done a lot of things. So the more things you do, the more you can justify a longer reel because it's like you have more to show, like more actually interesting things to show. And sound design, we'll see. 209, it's long again. I think this is still probably too long, but we'll see. We'll see. You have done things. We'll see how you feel. Audio is cranked, sidechains off. 3, 2, 1, and go. Wow, I knew it was a minute instantly. At a minute, I was like, how long's it been? Yeah, I am now in the headspace of how long is this thing, as opposed to being just dialed into this thing. And I'd probably do one of these and like skip ahead, you know? The Nameless City. Okay, yeah. This is just like, it is just like, well, it's similar in some ways to the reel we just watched previously from Martin, and these can be cut in half very easily. But we'll watch the whole thing out of politeness to Andrea. Carrying on. Whoa, Bloodborne? Okay. Left field. Jeez. Okay, cool. Yeah, too long, but cool. Good stuff. Andrea, thank you. Yeah, mobile stuff's hard to show, huh? It's always a trick. Always a trick. I think you zoomed in a bit, or maybe you haven't. But, yeah, this black space is unfortunate. It'd be nice to have... Like, if it were me, I might take this clip and like zoom it in and dim it, like really dim, or like blur it out behind this, just have a little more something going on. Excuse me. But yeah, 'cause the black just seems kind of, I don't know, unpolished. But whatever. Okay, intro, we got presentation first. Yeah, it's okay. The intro didn't blow my mind for sound design stuff. Coal miner loved it. So 2 Kevins with very differing opinions. Yeah, it just feels very like this, then this, then this, then this, and it felt like there's a bunch of different stuff. Like there's that in there, but also some like really rich like synth design stuff. That sounds kind of like you went ba-dum on like a preset in some way. It doesn't sound like it didn't for me. Maybe I'm being overly critical, but for me personally, this didn't have like this established sonic identity. It felt like a bunch of like the whoosh, it's kind of just whatever, you know. We have various sounds that's like is in everything. It's like, okay, that's getting there. It has like some kind of melodic stuff to it. Is nothing, and ba-dum is something. It is very simple, and it is kind of fun, Kevin, but it's not like it is, I think, falling short of defining like Andrea's sound. You know, I've seen a lot of intros that are like very much someone like designed something, like put time into it and like made this whole this identity for themselves, and this sounds kind of like a little bit generic, you know. So, like, in all the different layers, nothing overlaps. It's like this sound, now this sound, now this sound, now this sound, now this sound. That makes sense? So I think this could be a little more interesting, you know, but it is like, it's synced and it's cute and stuff, but it's just like it's not as interesting as it could be, I think. Moving on. Okay, merge rivals. Sound is, okay, this is like kind of weird too. This happened, did it get clearer? Yeah, it did right there. Is this the video or is this me? Is it the video? I don't know what's happening. Like this happened. I checked this too, and it's like auto. It shouldn't be still loading, right? At this point, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It always pops in 10 seconds. Pop. I think this isn't me. I think this is the video. So be aware of that. You made the animation for the music reel and reused it for the sound design one too. Yeah, well, the animation's fine, Andrea. The animation's totally fine. I think just the sound design is up to you. Like how rich or how unique you want to make it yourself, you know? It's up to you. Okay, so we have Electra Manta, mobile. We're just looking at presentation really fast, so this is fine. You did these things. Great. Moving on. It's long. Next thing, Drone Racing League Simulator. The Drone Racing League, PC. Like, what is the second line all about? Merge rivals. Oh, it's like, this is the team. I see. Excuse me. Okay, and then, okay, and the next thing we have, oh, there's no, oh, up here. I didn't see this the first time through or even just now. I saw this at no point. It moved. What a curveball. Thunderflash. Seep. Okay. Music and sound design. Okay. I do appreciate that you're not playing music in these clips though. Good stuff. Then we have Necro Merger, Grumpy Rhino, music and sound. Then we have Bloodborne, super short, From Software. Yeah, we know that. Sound redesign. Yep. This is out of left field. Completely. This is a crazy inclusion in this reel. You see me laugh? It caught me off guard. I didn't even see it when I was scrolling through like this. I was like, Mainland City, got it. And press play. And then finally, this clip was really cool. I liked it. Paradnight? Paradnight Studio. Music, sound design, and implementation. Classic. It's cool stuff. Really fun. I like the style. So it's just super long. This clip here, like, all this stuff. Yeah, like it is showing some different stuff, but it's a lot of the same stuff too. It just doesn't need to be as long. Like, I get it. You know, you did these sounds. They're all for little poppy bouncy things. Little big drums, war drums and stuff. Cool. It can be easily half as long as this. Does not need to be so long. DRL sim. There's some. We'll get to content in a second here, but. All right, I think we can move into, well, I'll just mention for material selection, this is heavily credits, obviously. It's like all things you've worked on besides Bloodborne, it seems, right? These are all you did things, which is awesome. You're doing work, it shows, it's great, good job. You've obviously worked very hard to get here, and you should be proud. The FromSoft thing is crazy, because like, why is this here? Do you want to work in a AAA studio, you know? So you wanted to add something a bit more challenging in terms of a sound design, but if it doesn't sound good or it's out of place, it's not that it doesn't sound good. I don't recall what it sounds like. I was laughing at the fact that it's here at all. Well, let's listen right now. I mean, it's so I can't even form an opinion. It's so short, you know? What's there is like, fine. I think there's room for improvement, but I mean, it's just like, what is the goal of this being here? You want to show people that you did it and you had fun? I mean, sure, but the purpose of your reel is to get work and you're freelancing, right? And FromSoft's not going to hire you, and AAA teams are going to see your reel and be like, oh, it's like a ton of like super indie and like mobile stuff. And it seems that that's what Andrea is good at and like wants to keep doing, right? And then FromSoft's like, oh, wait, but they have Bloodborne. Like, it's just not going to happen. So this is kind of crazy. It can be fun to have in like an other audio thing. Just put here, yeah. I wanted to explore I love Bloodborne and wanted to just do this for a little exercise. Had a fun time with it. Like, even that's cool. So I was like, oh, cool, Bloodborne. I like Bloodborne too, you know. But in your main demo reel is maybe a strange choice. So content stuff. So these notes I give you are given with a heavy caveat of, you did the work and the team liked it and great. You know, that's awesome. But if you were to come to me and say, hey, Kevin, what do you think of my sound design in this project? That's kind of where this stuff's going to come from, okay? So it's not that, hey, go fix these games, they're broken. It's not that. It's more that I just have some opinions, especially when it comes to casual games, to mobile games, that kind of thing. Because that's kind of what I cut my teeth on. I worked on just a ton of casual and mobile stuff in my first few years in game audio. And a big part of that was making inoffensive, unjarring, smooth, rounded sounds. That's honestly why I called upon a lot of that for like Celeste and Tunic and stuff, you know? I learned a lot from doing this kind of game. So there's things like, for example, in this isn't a casual game, but still, I think it still applies. There's some UI things here, like this one here. That sound is so harsh. Like, it makes me wince, you know? It's like out of nowhere, bam, big hit, high frequency content. Yeah, and also that sound. Same thing, it's high frequency content. You have this game as well, similar. That sound as well. There's a lot of sounds throughout this stuff. That the transient there, it's pretty hard. You know? Yeah, that hit also. The ding. It's a relatively easy problem, quote unquote, to fix. Just take your big transient waveform, right? And if it looks like this, right, that's your waveform, just put a fade, right? So if your region is is like this right here. That's your region, right? Just throw a fade like this. Done. In many cases, that's actually all you need to do. Just that, a bit of that. Occasionally, I'll instead not do that, but rather I'll consolidate out like this, and then I'll do a fade kind of like that or something like that, you know? So that it's not starting from 0, it's just starting from less. So that in the end, what you have is not this shape for the wave, you have something more like this shape, you know? Where it's like going up and then back down again. Does that make sense? So you still have a transient, it's just not quite so aggressive. So there's room there. Do. D is great. G, d, d. J is great. Ju. You know, these are great kind of like consonant sounds for mobile games and casual games. It's dangerous to get into t sounds and high frequency stuff, especially because mobile games are on tiny speakers. People are on earbuds. The nature of the system they're listening on is such that it reproduces high frequencies very efficiently. So I'm on like some, M50Xs. These are not, I'm not on like an iPhone, but regardless, I'm still getting like, punched in the face or like, poked in the ear with some of these high frequency, hard transient sounds. So just be aware of that. If it's high frequency, you can pull it way down in the mix, way down, and it'll still be heard. It'll poke through, don't worry. Things like this like ding ding on the drone sim, you have room. You can pull it back like 20 dB, like literally maybe 20 dB, and it might still be fine. But zip, 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 even that. It's like at the very end of it. That like is maybe a bit much, Yeah. Yeah, all these sounds you can pull way back. Go listen to like the Nintendo Switch menu UI. It's like that's a masterclass in soothing sound design. It's done so well. This engine stuff is like fine. It's a bit kind of like one-dimensional stuff. This is not my strong point personally either, but I can hear it go, like I can hear it being pitched, But really cool you had your hands under the hood a little bit to get some implementation stuff going on. The static feels like a little bit generic static, like it's just white noisy. Something else with the gunshot here is it's really stereo. It's super wide. And that can be dangerous when you want to have sounds that are wide for a reason. You have like this wide sound that it should be probably mono or maybe spatialized to your character a little bit. I know it's like a D, it's not a super, not a super like high fidelity game. Regardless, it's still probably worthwhile having a bit of like proximity and like localization, no, like local consideration for like, is the sound here or is it like around us, And right now the gunshot's around us.
Flamethrower.
And is the enemy gun the same as your gun? Yeah, it is. So the enemy gunshots are the same as your gunshots, which is a questionable decision because you want to make the player sound powerful or feel powerful, and if they have a gun that sounds just like their enemies, it's not really telling them that. It's telling them like you are the same as your enemies,
Flamethrower.
Yeah, it's cool. This is a cool piece to include with like the kind of demake, lo-fi audio stuff. Super cool. Like it a lot. It's a fun project. Looks like it was a fun project to work on. Love that. These are all really nice sounds. Very nice. That, so nice. Little bubble. Super nice. And like the really quiet underneath it. Nice little detail. Even that was pretty good. There's like one little at the very end of the bone sound that I might pull back. It's like at the very end. A big like snap sound. But otherwise it's pretty soft, pretty nice. That's great too. It's like it's gross, but it's still cute. You know, you really hit that balance very nicely. It's great. There's a pop there also. You hear that pop? It's a technical pop. Right there. It's like walking goes right after that. Hearing that at home? Be aware. When you have audio folks, I mean, the folks watching your reel aren't really like audio directors and stuff, mind you, so it's probably fine, but just be aware. It can't hurt to have your stuff smoothed out and tightened up, details, etc. So this sound is a bit harsh, a little bit. Not a big deal. Love this. Love that. Yeah, that transient for a grab is, yeah, I don't know. If you came to me and you're like, hey Ken, what do you think? The feedback I give is that a grab to me is not like an impact. When you drop the bone here, boom, makes a poof. It's like a big impact there. But like for grabbing it, that's like it's an up. You know, it's like that kind of softer thing. Like soft because we can predict the player is like pick up and drop. So like a have that kind of like 1, 2, 1, 2. But it's like you have impact for like a grab and a hit, a grab and a drop. We're kind of telling the player / listener that the same thing or the same family of thing is happening twice in a row, but it's not. Like a grab and a drop are pretty fundamentally opposite. So having it as like a big transient sound on that grab is maybe not communicating as clearly as it could be what the nature of that gameplay kind of interaction is, you know. There's a pop there too. Is that pop in the game asset? It might be. I bet it is. I think this sound, that I think it just isn't faded. There's a pop at the end. Be aware. Yeah, that is a great pickup sound. There's no transient, right? There's no impact. Yeah, it pops everywhere. Now that I'm hearing it, it's constant technical pops. Fade your stuff, Andrea. Fade it. Okay, so here, that pop, do. I'm a big fan of designing out UI like crazy. The different UI interactions. This X, that sound versus clicking this scroll, whatever this is, a menu. Those are two very different things. Close a thing, I don't want to see it, versus open this thing, I do want to see it, are two extremely different interactions. They're spectral opposites. But here we have the same sound twice in a row. I think you could do better. You could choose to have like a scroll opening up sound, like some kind of sound that is just simply different. So when you go close open, you hear one sound, second sound. It's like 1, 2 as opposed to 1, 1. Because 1, 1 in sound says the same thing happened twice, but the opposite thing happened. It was this happened, then that. It's the classic try closing your eyes and listening to your work and seeing if you can tell what happened, you know? I'm skipping Bloodborne. That first clip didn't really do much for me. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, I don't know what this is. This clip's cool though. Where's this one? No, this one. Or this, isn't this one? Yeah, they're all very, very bespoke, and I don't super know what's happening. Is it possible to have, like this clip here is my favorite for sure, because it tells a story, right? This is like you walk for a bit and it's like, I don't know what's happening. And this one you walk for a bit and I don't know what's happening. It's like light a torch. Is that you showing your torch light sound? I guess so, right? Maybe. And that one, you're just walking, I don't know what's happening. But this one here, look at this. This is sick. What is this thing? Open our book. Love that. Super wide speech stuff. Something happens, oh, it goes away, you know? Like, that clip was cool. We have this, like, phrase of things happening. Even though I've never seen the project, that clip made me want to hear and see more. The rest are just, like, what even is happening here, you know? It's just, it's worth thinking, like, I mean, I know you know intimately what's happening in this project, but I have no idea, coming in blind, right? So having something just helping me, coming in, having no concept of what this project is, just taking me by the hand, saying, hey, Kevin, this way. Come this way. It sounds cool. Come on, check it out. It lets me get a foothold and, like, follow along with what's happening, so I can then form an opinion. Because I have no idea if this sound here is appropriate to the action. I have no idea whatsoever, right? Whereas here, I can be like, oh, it seems like there was a gameplay mechanic of a locked door to open with a spell or something. I'd open a book and, like, choose some glyphs, and I'd set a thing and it opened up. Like, I can get the gist, at least, right? I have a decent idea of what's happening. But the clips all before this, I have just no idea. So it may be that, I mean, this game is done. It's not like you redesigned it, right? So you could go into the project and think of, like, performing a really nice sequence. Like, before this, maybe you want to, like, light the torch and walk from the area up to this door and use the thing, and then, like, walk through and like open the menu and, like, navigate the menu a bit. Like, you can make one clip that's cohesive and it's performed, because the purpose of the clip is to show us your work, right? That's one huge benefit of having your work in the game, is you can just go in and capture a clip and do it like 10 times and choose the best one, you know, just choose the best take. And then you say, hey, Kevin, take my hand and just walk me through it. And it's way, way, way more cohesive and interesting and engaging than just, like, a bunch of kind of nondescript clips where I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Because even here, I'm like, oh, like, where's this door go? And then it's like, no, you'll never know. Too bad. Stairs? Who knows where it goes? Not you. It's just like, and we're just shepherd crooked out of here to another clip again. And I don't know what this was at the end. I don't know what this is. Is this the same project still? Or is this like a fun Deep Dreams thing that you just decided to design? Yeah, I don't know what that is. It kind of threw me for a loop there. But, I mean, yeah, cool. There's a lot of great work here. Just doesn't need to be so long and can be more focused in terms of what you want to do, like what your goals are with this stuff, you know? Just think of who's watching this stuff and just show them something they've never seen before and give them a fighting chance of understanding what they're looking at, you know? Cool. Are you standing out in a crowd? Yeah, I think so. Totally. You've done a lot of stuff. This is a staggering page to glance at. Staggering. There's a lot of things here. This alone would convince me, like, oh, Andrea's probably at least worth a look because they've done a ton of stuff. This is great. And I can go just look at all this stuff very easily, play a game. I can check it out. It's very strong. So good on you. I think this could use some refinement, but on the whole, I mean, you're obviously very busy, so well done. Yeah, you don't need me. Don't need us. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Thanks. Okay, it's 1:45. I'm going to call it there. We're going to put some Power Blade back on again because it's amazing. What sector, though? That's the question. How about city? Oh, yeah. It's good. It's really good. Okay. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out, as always. This was a bit of an impromptu stream because we missed last week due to being in London. So there will be a stream next week, at which point we'll resume the every 2 weeks cycle. Yeah. So I will see you in not 2 weeks, but 1 week. Okay. Thanks a lot. Cheers.